that
Yeah.
script that I had you read.
Yeah.
I played it, I recorded it, I'm uploading it to YouTube as we speak, and probably within another 30 minutes or so, I can send you guys the link to hear and see what it looks like. You got too much twang, Sam.
Dude, I can work on that.
Yeah, I don't think you can. I think it's baked into your genetics, just like your short cord.
Yeah. What can I say?
Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're no longer Hold the Mayo. What are we? Peeling back the onion?
Peeling back the onion.
Peeling
I like
back the onion. So
Yeah, we really could have a different name every week. That could be part of
see,
what
that
we
would
do
be
here.
funny.
that would be weird. I got to change the YouTube channel name every week. Would be interesting.
fine.
That
You
would
can
be
do
funny, y'all.
That would, oh my God. So yeah, so that was Sam McMahon, and I got Josh Stagner, and I am again, as always, Dan Gutierrez. IV. There's a story behind that, and I'll share it with you guys someday. I think Josh might know it.
Ivy.
Ivy,
IV.
yeah, the fourth. Ivy.
Oh,
The
the fourth.
fourth.
Gotcha.
So
I'm sorry. I'm busy with the background pictures of Sammy. Is this your man cave?
Dude,
I've only seen the,
here, let
I've
me
only
give you a
seen the
tour.
other side. I've only seen
Yeah,
the
go for
Titanic
it.
Yeah,
picture.
let me give you a tour.
You've only seen the dark side of the moon. Now you're gonna see the whole thing.
All right. So the camera's kind of fuzzy. So, but
Yeah, and you're shaking
there's
it
the
too.
back.
This is great.
So I have a poster wall. So I've got Titanic,
Mm-hmm.
Lord of the Rings, signed by all the hobbits.
That's great. Yeah, it's fantastic.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Revenge of the Jedi.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Gladiator.
Yeah, with Russell Crowe jizzed on it for you. That's nice.
Yeah,
Good.
probably. Russell,
Beauty.
Beauty and the Beast,
Mm-hmm.
and then Nemo. All these movies have some kind of family kind of connection.
What is
there's my movie screen.
What is Revenge of the Jedi? I don't think I saw that one.
Return of the Jedi was originally named Revenge of the Jedi, and then fans said
that's what I
Jedis don't
thought it
take
was.
revenge. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's my movie screen, and then there's my pride and joy.
Yeah, I don't get a whole Princess Leia thing, by the way. Of all like the top 10 lists of all the world, she doesn't make any of mine. But you know, to each their own. To each their own, I guess.
She did go out of her way for that movie to get in shape and make that poster board cut out so that Sammy 30 years later could have it in his man cave.
Careful. And I have the Cobra Kai little thing that I got signed at Comic-Con by
Johnny Lawrence?
Johnny Lawrence and the kid who plays Hawk, Jacob Bertrand. Oh, and Kreese. Kreese signed it too.
Kreese is the awesome one, I think.
He was cool, man.
He's the badass.
Yeah, I liked him in another movie he did.
He was in freaking Rambo. What are you talking about?
That's it. That's the only other one. Exactly. You get it right. This was not a tough trivia question, Danny. Good job. And Danny's on the board for 100 points, everybody.
Yes.
Now speaking of, we can actually transition here because this is a great segue into our topic. I saw Sammy just adoringly stare at his Princess Leia with it looked like he was watching his kid walk across the stage for graduation. He looks at it with such pride and joy. Then you take a look down at his shirt, and it's a Taylor Swift shirt. So Sammy, that's what me call you now. Tammy might work out actually. Let's talk about this concert you went to this past week. This was not just a concert. This was a whole weekend event.
Taylor Swift will be in Tampa next weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So get your tickets now or try and sneak in or whatever. Then she'll be back in Houston, Atlanta, Nashville. She's going all over the place. Philadelphia. She's gonna go out to Massachusetts, so I might fly up there and check her out. Pick up some lobster while I'm up there.
Danny, only time you're going to Massachusetts when your boss pays for it.
Every time I eat stuffed crust from Pizza Hut, I play this song. But watch what happens when I play it backwards.
Eat original stuffed crust backwards.
What did you say, record?
3 toppings, just $11.99.
Amazing. The original stuffed crust, just $11.99. Only for Pizza Hut. No one out Pizza Hut. No one.
Yeah, so this I'll spare the story on how we got the tickets, but that's in and of itself is actually a pretty cool story. But we paid normal prices, but So yeah, we showed up Saturday. I took my daughter there to get. She wanted merch and shirts and stuff like that. And it's like, all right, fine. I thought the line opened at 10. There was a merch line that I saw opens at 10. Okay, great. They had a merch truck outside the stadium, so you don't even have to get into it to get any merch. Okay, so we get there, and come to find out, it opens at 2, and we're like 200th in line.
And this is in Dallas, right?
Arlington, yeah.
Arlington, Central Texas.
AT&T Stadium, yeah.
And it was what was the weather like?
I got sunburned.
Yeah, I saw the pictures. It looked pretty bright. Maybe not too hot, but definitely the sun was shining.
Yeah. No, it was a little warm.
So what was your guess? What do you guess, man? How many people were there?
In that merch line, by the time they opened at 2, there was probably about 1,000 people.
And you were in 200th. So 200.
Yeah, we were about 200th, and we got there at 9:30 a.m.
Okay.
And I thought we were going to be there for a couple of hours. Ended up being about 5. But so that we went on Saturday. Our concert was on Sunday. We went on Saturday. The 10 o'clock thing was for a pre-merch deal on Thursday. So okay, fine, whatever. I just didn't read it very well. But so we got all our merch stuff done Saturday. My daughter and I just made a day out of it, had a good time. And then Sunday, wake up, kind of all geeked up, ready to go this thing. And, we take a shuttle in. We eat at a burger place and just take a shuttle in. We get there about 3:30, and it starts raining a little bit. They let us in early. And, dude, that place was just absolutely electric. I know I'm a 48-year-old guy, and I take a lot of heat for being a Swiftie dude. I like her music. I think there's something about her talent. You don't have to necessarily like her music to appreciate her talent. And yeah, I know Josh is making faces.
Like, I gotta take a step back though. Okay, you were in this pre-merch line. You spent 5 hours there.
Yeah.
What on earth did you get that was so valuable, so meaningful, so I cannot get this on Amazon Prime that I'm going to spend 5 hours and risk sun disease for? Like, I mean, other than the black and white T-shirt reprint that you're wearing right now, what else did you get?
The experience.
The experience. Is it time with your daughter? Is it a precious
moment?
Dude,
I wouldn't trade that. I wouldn't trade it for the world. Seriously.
Is that your first Taylor Swift concert?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It was? Okay.
And I've made my mind up. It won't be the last if I can help it.
Well, that goes without saying, Sammy. I think we already figured that one out.
Dude, that seriously, that show was just outrageous. The anticipation as the clock started ticking down, that the openers went, they were fine, whatever. But you could feel the anticipation in the crowd, and I was geeked up and I was excited and stuff, but being a 48-year-old guy, I kind of have to tamper that down a little bit so I don't look like the creeper. But when the clock struck 0 and everything started, just the eruption in that place was just outrageous, man. And that girl, she can put on a show. Like I said, you don't have to like her music. That's fine. You just have to appreciate her showmanship, man. And people who don't like her generally don't, because they just don't like her music, and that's fine. They don't buy into the hype. They, some people just naturally, Josh, don't like things with a lot of hype. But if you listen to some pieces of music throughout her career, her music evolves with her. And it's not just the same stuff over and over. Some of the topics are, there's a lot of breakup songs and a lot of man hate songs and all that fun stuff, but whatever. But just the maturity and the growth of her music as she grows up, it's really actually pretty cool. But I was floored. If we were more on the side, we didn't get a straight shot view of the stage, which I won't say stinks. I would have preferred to have been able to see the whole stage, but we had really good seats where we were on the side. But
no, you were at least 100 yards away. I mean, that's pretty good.
No, it was about 50 yards.
You were close enough, Sammy, to take some mental pictures for later, right? That's really all that matters.
You know what? I never really thought of her as overly. The attraction thing never really did much for me. until actually fairly recently. I never.
So you were, sir, a true fan of the music. I get it.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, no, there's a reason you are saying this, because she was once not 18 yet when you started
No,
listening
dude,
to her.
no. No, I didn't start liking. I mean, I knew of her, blah blah blah.
How old is she? 32? I didn't start
about,
liking her that way for at least 14 years.
No,
13.
I didn't start liking her music or even paying that much attention to it beyond, being aware of it, till about 2017. And I only know that.
And she's a fine musician. I've seen a lot of clips and things from concerts, and it looks like a great event. It looks amazing. And if you like being there and the physicality and the emotions of being in a large arena with 100,000 people packed on top of each other, spending 9 hours driving there, parking, waiting in line, going through the ordeal, and doing it all back again. I get it. It's cool. It's awesome. I think she's amazingly talented, and I get her following. I don't think she is gonna be. I don't think her songs are gonna last the test of time like some of the history, some of the best artists that we have. But we don't need to sit here and debate the merits of Taylor Swift's artistry right now. I think it's more about. I wanted to talk about just the experiences, because what really hit me about this is leading up to it, and even during the event, the day of and the day after, how excited you were about it and how emotional, and you didn't hold back. You just look, this is who I am. I mean, like, seriously, people in gay pride don't do it as well as you do. I'm Swift pride. You're like, I'm a Swiftie, gosh darn it, and I'm okay saying it, and here you go, loud and proud wearing the t-shirt. But I think that's awesome, because I don't I spoke with Danny about this. I don't know if I'm passionate about anything other than maybe my kids' education and their accomplishments. I'm a huge Notre Dame football fan. I grew up a Washington football fan. I could care less of the extent, I've seen Notre Dame play in the national championship, and we got our butts kicked. Okay, no big deal. And just move on to the next. I don't get that emotionally attached. And the events, I've been to big concerts in my life. I've seen Bruce Springsteen, Santa Mayor's Box in Orlando. I've seen Pearl Jam back in 2001. Billy and Elton I saw perform together in Jacksonville. I've seen a bunch of really cool concerts, and I can easily say I would much rather sit home and watch him on a HBO Live special than actually be there with a bunch of strangers and having to go to the ordeal of dealing with all the people there. I think it's a me thing.
That interests you? The excitement and the crowd and the electricity doesn't.
I don't think the sound's that strong. I don't think the view, and the view you had, like you said, you could see her, but it's literally like saying, you can see the plane take off from the airport because you're that far away. You need binoculars to be able to find out what eye color she is if you didn't already know. So you're there, but to me, it's not even about seeing her. We made a joke. How many times did you have to look up the Jumbotron to realize what the hell is actually going on? And I went to a football game in January. I took my kids to the Notre Dame playoff game, and we were in the third row at the 10-yard line. Amazing seats, right there, seeing the players on the Notre Dame sideline. When they're at the other end of the field, 80, 85 yards away, I'm looking at the Jumbotron. I can't even see. I'm looking at the Jumbotron. So it's what the hell, man? And I got this woman who had a 3-day-old baby sitting right in front of me, blocking everything. Yeah, I like the television experience. I like being at home.
So we need to take the discussion in a little bit different direction now, and we're going to do that after the break. But I think what we want to touch on is the live experience versus what the experience is on TV, because that's been an ongoing debate. I think that some of us have had throughout the years, and as the televised experience has improved and whatnot. So right after this commercial break, we'll jump into that one.
All right.
Yeah.
So, what do you think?
We're prepared to offer cash.
When you get great deals at Denny's,
$5.99.
you'll start to expect great deals everywhere. New all-day diner deals starting at $5.99. 10 delicious meals only at Denny's.
When we arrived at our hotel in New York, the porter was so incredibly careless with our bags. And the room they gave us, it was beautiful.
A broom closet.
But the best part was the shower. My wife drying herself in the Egyptian cotton towels.
Shower curtain.
Defined the whole vacation for her.
Don't just visit New York.
Visit TripAdvisor New York. With millions of reviews, a visit to TripAdvisor makes any destination better.
Fry babies! Happy flowers! Look, it's Mila! They smell like flowers! And lots of accessories! Twist and reveal! The magic tears reveal happy faces! Fry babies! Each sold separately!
Stop, dude. Fuck. You don't have fleas. Stop licking yourself, you nasty fuck. And we're back!
Yeah, and we are back. Thanks, Josh. That was a very enthusiastic. We are back.
That's the old Jimmy Fallon skit on SNL when he's playing a radio DJ.
I'm gonna have to check that one out. I've not seen that one. So the debate has to do with live performance or live event like a football game versus just watching it like, you know, on TV or YouTube or whatever you might want to find it on, right? I've never been to a professional regular season football game because I don't feel that type of the product on the field is the product, but the experience just doesn't work for me, right? You got people getting drunk, people just yelling, fights, and you can't really, it's hard to follow live on the field compared to the experience that we get to see on, I don't know, Fox, NBC, CBS, on the actual shows when it's on TV. It is way more of a complete viewing experience for me, and that's why I don't think I have zero appetite to watch it live.
It's a very different experience and different product live versus TV. TV when you're there live, you're there for the environment. You're there to say that you were there for the event. You got to see it in person. You know, 300 million people have said they attended some game when 80,000 people showed up. No, but everybody wants to say that they were a part of the experience. There is no question. Pretty much almost any sporting event is better on TV than it is at the arena if you're just there to watch the game. Hockey, very different. Hockey is probably the most fun sporting event you can go to, and it translates much better in person than it does TV. I think that's honestly why hockey may struggle a little bit on TV sometimes, because it's just not as good of a product. But when you go to an event, say the concert, the music was really loud, and as good as seats that we had, it was still, of course, nowhere near as clear as if we watched a Netflix show, or, you know, you just watched it on TV or something like that, because the audio was tuned for the TV audience and everything. You're not getting any of the reverb, the bouncing back and forth in a stadium not built for concerts, and blah blah blah. So it's about being there for the show, being there and saying, I got to see this person in person. I've been to a ton of NFL games. I've gotten to see Joe Montana, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Dak Prescott.
No, please stop with the Dak. You just want to see his hip thrust live on TV or live in person.
I've seen his hip throws in person.
So first time Dak's ever been mentioned with those other quarterbacks.
Yeah, I know, right? No, but that's very true. The only one I never got to see in person that I wanted to was Elway. Okay, but yeah, but it's just a very different product being there. Yeah, whenever you're like Josh said, you can have the greatest seats in the world, but if you're on the 20-yard line and something's happening 80 yards away, you can't really tell what's happening. You're basically feeding off the cues of the crowd on that end of the end zone to know what happened. When we went to the Chiefs game this year, saw them play Tennessee, fantastic seats in the end zone. We saw everything happening right in front of us for half the game, and the other half, we're just taking cues as to what was happening. But the environment and the crowd and the experience, that's what's fun about it. And at some point, I've been to a ton of Cowboy games. I have a buddy with season tickets. He takes me to 2 or 3 a year, most years, and it's great. It loses its sheen. It loses its sheen a little bit because, yeah, it's more fun to watch it at home if you're actually trying to follow the game.
Yeah, no, I get it, and you're obviously kind of you become so accustomed to the letdown every year. You're kind of like you've built up like
that's true.
The
that's
thick
true.
skin now. So yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Thanks for that.
America's team. No, yeah, I get what you're saying. And I actually agree with you about hockey. I think hockey is a much better. I've never watched a hockey game on television in my life, and I'm here in Tampa. We've been in the Stanley Cup Finals a couple times, and I could care less. I'll check the box score on ESPN. But going to the games, I've never turned down tickets when I've gotten them. I've never paid for them either, but that's a whole separate story. But the games are phenomenal in hockey. I look at baseball as well. I think going to a baseball game is a little more enjoyable. Again, I'm not watching baseball on television, but I think that's more of the family experience behind it. But events where the tickets are tougher to get, like the NFL, like some NBA games, concerts, where it's going to be sold out, and you have that many people. I think it really just boils down to personality and psychology. I don't like large crowds. I don't like loud noises. I hate strangers. I pretty much hate people. So going to an event in a game, probably I'm not like the primary person to go for it. As big of a sports fan as I am, and as much as I love certain musics and artists, it just being there, it takes away from the actual experience. I want something intimate. I want something where I can reflect back and enjoy and process. I don't want to have to act like I'm part of the moment, to dance along and sing along and be engaged. I like to contemplate and facilitate what's going on. And I don't get that when I'm at a concert, it's the exact opposite. You're supposed to be there in the moment, living it second by second. And that's not where I get my pleasure out of listening to music or watching sporting events. TV actually is a perfect way, because you're going to get those television breaks where you take time in between. You get the color commentary, you get the replays. I can't tell you how many sporting events I've been to, many Bucks games and Rays games. They don't even show a replay of something positive that happened. They don't show. They move on to the next sponsor or whatever it is. And being able to see that and see, what the defensive player did wrong, what the offensive player did right, and vice versa. That to me is like, that's the joy of the game. The analytical side of it, and that's something you don't get from a live event.
Yeah.
Well, for those of us who do go to games, we appreciate you not going.
Yeah.
Well,
so
you have a seat because I didn't go.
So here's the thing, Josh. I think you just self-diagnosed yourself as being on the spectrum for ASD. You're antisocial. You don't like being around people. You don't want people touching you or maybe even looking into your eyes.
Yeah, I'm pro-COVID rules for sure. Like 6 feet away from me and stay in your fucking houses. No doubt. I think socially I thrived the most over those 2 years.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
The glory years.
We're gonna take a quick break, and when we get back, we will touch on the Tampa Rays, which they are off to a potentially historical season. They're 6-0, and we're gonna get into some detail about what that means and what Josh might be able to get into for free in Tampa.
Great.
I feel married.
I'm very happy.
Me too. I'm hurt.
I can't hear you. You're breaking up. Lim.
Code silver.
Sean, you cannot go down there.
Dr. Lim, they need my help. I have 3 hostages. Don't touch me.
Sean.
Look at me.
The Good Doctor, season premiere October 3rd on ABC and stream on Hulu.
Z105. And we're back!
And we are going to talk about a little bit of baseball here, which is not going to be our norm, but it is something of importance that we want to bring up because the Tampa Rays have started their season 6-0. That's only happened. It's only been a handful of times in history where a 6-0 team has not made it to the World Series. So I think with that being said, Josh lives in Tampa. What are you looking forward to with regard to maybe getting some free World Series tickets from your connections out there?
Well, my connections, a good buddy of mine is dating the woman who heads up PR for the away team. As far as World Series tickets, we'll see about that if and when it comes. But I can definitely get some regular season tickets, and I've been successful. I go to about 3 to 4 Rays games a year and a half for the last 8 years or so. And they're off to an amazing start. Sweeping the Nationals and the Tigers, and now we come up in a 3-game series. It's very winnable against Oakland. So far, not a weakness on the team, which is really amazing to see. And some of the younger talent has stepped up. The Rays, what's amazing about this feel-good team, it's what the A's strive to be with playing Moneyball, and they've just perfected it. They continue to remove players that get too expensive and they move on forward. I mean, we just lost Kiermaier recently and other players. And the list goes on. So every other year we're saying goodbye to someone we developed. Now we have Arizano and Franco, who are kind of leading the pack. A really strong pitching unit and bullpen. So, but it's the little engine that could, and so I'm really excited to see what it can do. What I love about this though, and watching some of the games this year, the changes that Major League Baseball made. And this is really, I think, a study, and everyone's curious as to see what happens and where this goes. And most people are familiar with it. Okay, we have the pitch timer. So pitchers only have a certain amount of time. I think it's 15 or 20 seconds where they have to get ready and throw the next pitch, and the batter has to be ready. This has led to a drastic increase in stolen bases. I mean, it is almost like 85% more at this time last year. And it is 100% having to do with pitchers not being able to hold the runner. There's also the rule where they can only throw to first base 3 times now, and then at the 4th time, it's a balk and the runner automatically advances. So it's a huge advantage now for teams who weren't building play, around speed to have a player or two focused on speed with what this can become. And we're going to see people at the end of the year with 70, 80 stolen bases leading the league, which is something new. But I say that is that Major League Baseball realized they had a problem. It was struggling in the ratings. It was struggling getting viewers. Tampa here, we're always struggling getting people in the seats. I've had seasons where we were in first place, 5 games over the Yankees and Red Sox, and the stadium has less than 10,000 people. So, which is just, it's shameful. And what I've seen is that baseball said, "Look, we have a problem here. We're always at curmudgeon, that lack of ability to adapt, lack of ability to change." And they finally said, "We're gonna change. We're gonna do it. We're gonna see what we can to speed up the games. We're gonna see what we can do to make it more interesting. We're gonna see what we can do to try to get more runs produced, and we're gonna try to get the audience and the youth more engaged." And so far, I think it's working.
And
Maybe
they've eliminated the shift rule.
Yes,
from
the
before
shift
too,
rule is
which was
another big
huge.
change.
I've always been anti-shift because it just seemed like the argument was we're not scoring runs. Well, if you can put all the defensive players on one side of the field and the guy just can't hit it anywhere else, it's going to be defensive favorable. So,
well, when you get a line drive shot straight up, the pitcher's mount right over second base, it should be a hit. And with a shift, all of a sudden you got a guy sitting right there, ready to scoop him up and throw him out. So it was damaging to the game, and it really hurt the interest, I think. So when I grew up, when I first moved to Florida when I was 7, I was first introduced to sports, and it was baseball. And baseball is what we did every single day. We'd come home, we'd watch the Cubs on WGN. This is before they even had lights in Wrigley Field. And we played baseball every single day. And before I got integrated into basketball and football, it was all baseball, and it was everything I did. And then in the 90s, in the late 90s, when I was in college, of course, we had, the McGuire and Sosa, and the Cubs were playing really well. And it brought a kind of renewed interest. And then we went through the early 2000s, and then the steroid era, and baseball got beat up every single way possible. And where they tried to clean up the game, it affected the game. Production went down, stats went down, interest went down, ratings went down, and you have not seen a bounce back since then. I think baseball probably peaked around 2003, 2004. And I was with the Red Sox and Yankees and some of the bigger teams, bigger names having really big teams. And since that time, it's just been a downward decline. So what I'm really interested to see is, can they make up that difference? Can they turn that needle? Will the changes they make here make a big enough impact to affect the viewer at home? Will they get more butts in seats? Will they get people to actually watch? And I think that's going to be the biggest question mark.
Maybe baseball just has a lot of fans who don't like to go anywhere and just want to stay home watching it on TV.
Well, ratings are down too. So if that were the case, then ratings would be up. But they're not. You're not going to see a primetime television network pick up a baseball game.
Part of the problem too.
See...
part of the problem too with the ratings, and this is really a topic unto itself, is you have a lot of these local stations, local rights. The companies that have bought those rights, at least down here on Bally Sports, but I know Bally owns rights to a lot of other local markets, but long story short, they're in default. They can't pay their bills, and a lot of it is they've created streaming services or they're trying to create extra streams of revenue to try to pull in viewers to get more eyeballs so they can actually pay their bills. And the thing is, nobody wants to. Bally only plays on DirecTV. So if you don't have DirecTV, you can't watch these games. I can't watch Ranger games. I can't watch Maverick games. I can't watch Dallas Star games because they're all tied to Bally Sports. And there are a lot of other markets around the country that are like that. And people are essentially frozen out. So that's a lot of why you don't see a lot of higher ratings. National games, I have no idea what's happening there. But I know on a local market, that's what's driving those ratings.
Well, it could, but I mean, the whole point of them partnering with DirecTV and DirecTV purchase that product in that station is to make you buy the product. And the product isn't good enough, so no one is buying it. The NFL package, I mean, how many millions of people buy that, purchase it because they want to see their team, and no one has an issue with that. You know, it's $120 a year for a subscription, and they get a few million people every single year buying it, and they don't have any issues or concerns with that. But is it worth it to get your 3 local teams to get DirecTV as opposed to whatever you have right now or whatever streaming service you use?
I cut DirecTV, yeah.
Yeah. So and there you go.
Yeah.
See, so the product and the special interest they have there isn't enough value for you to purchase it.
The huge difference between the two sports, obviously, baseball is 162 games. Football, you got 16. It's like, do you really think Joey Chestnut is enjoying that 80th hot dog? No, because it's just too much of the same thing over and over and over again, essentially. Where football, it's like the first slice of pizza that you've had in like a month, and you're like, this is the most delicious slice of pizza. I'm gonna enjoy it.
It's a solid analogy. I'll give you credit.
Right?
For that.
Yeah, definitely.
I actually don't get the analogy at all, but we're gonna keep on rolling.
Of course he does.
Great attempt there, Danny. Way to join the conversation.
Sammy, you got it. Josh, you have an advanced education, and you didn't get that. This actually goes back to the conversation we had last week. Josh is not a lover of puns. I don't know what his problem is. He doesn't like laughing when it's something based off like silliness in rapid fire right after this last commercial.
Comienza la temporada cuando la temperatura cambia un poquito y empiezas a sacar años de memorias y alegría navideña. Sale la cazuela y el olor del lechón llena el aire. En Pollo Tropical, tus tradiciones también son las nuestras, como las masitas de puerco. Te traemos esa comida casera de tu cocina a la nuestra. Deja que nuestra familia cocine para tu familia en Pollo Tropical.
Rapid fire coming up, and we're gonna kick it off to Josh. He's gonna go with some questions, and we're gonna see what answers we get.
I watched the Clippers take down the Lakers last night. That's going to be the difference between making the play-in game and getting the play-in game off. So my question to you two is, who in this wild season is going to win the NBA title?
Celtics. 100%. I saw them play. They didn't play the strongest team. They played the San Antonio Spurs, but they absolutely annihilated them. Marcus Smart was ejected in the third quarter. Jason Tatum did not even play, and it was the Jaylen Brown show all the way. They are going deep, and I'm picking them to win it.
Well, Sammy's going to say his Mavericks, so we can move on.
Greek freak, Milwaukee. Why not?
All right. I'm going to say PG and Kawhi get healthy in a weaker West, and the Clippers are going to pull it off.
You might as well say the Mavericks. Good Lord.
The Mavericks can be doing what I'm doing, watching from home.
They, you know what? That can be a topic for another time. They're a disaster. Whatever.
What you got, Danny?
So that's it. We got to wrap it up. But my last question for you guys is going to be, as the camera cuts off, how much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? Go.
My question is, should I buy tickets to see Chevy Chase and Christy Brinkley at Comic-Con?
I think I say Taylor Swift again. No Taylor Swift. No more. No more.
Hey, you know what? The Chevy Chase tickets might be great if you can pawn off those Beyonce tickets you purchased.
Shut up.
Nope. Scalping laws.
No, actually, hold on to them and go to that concert. That way, 6 months from now, we can sit here and talk about, Beyonce is a talented person. I liked her.
No, she's hot, but I don't care for her stuff.
All right. Give me a mic check. Josh. 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 Well, I said 7:30 out of frustration. I was kind of joking. I was like, oh, let's just do 7:30.
Wow. I have this microphone right here. I didn't connect yet, but I have my nice power mic.
Oh, you want to show the mics? Here's my mic right.
When you get a restyled Honda CR-V, you get more. You get a set of wheels that helps you go farther with less. A better view of your surroundings. And you're getting Motor Trend's 2015 Sport Utility of the Year. So visit your local Honda dealer today.